We are live. What's up, everyone? Welcome. Sorry to make you wait for a minute. We were doing a little bit of tidying up the website because I'm going to announce that my summer masterclass is going to be happening next month, July 21st, from 10 o'clock to 4 o'clock in the afternoon, right here in Atlanta. It's actually in Decatur, Georgia, which is basically Atlanta. At the Vista Room, same place as we had it last year. There's a limited number of tickets available. Tickets are on sale on my website. You can go there. And I have a special VIP get together the night before for a very limited number of people, where we're going to go. We'll actually go to the to Napoleon's, which is right next door to the Vista Room, and have dinner and hang out. That'll be from probably 8 to 11. So you guys should come to Atlanta, get your plane tickets, or those of you that are here, and come hang out, meet in person, and ask all the questions you want to ask. As far as things that we're going to cover, we'll do hour-long sessions covering things like music theory, improvisation, ear training, what makes this song great. This is a really, really cool place, the Vista Room. Lunch is included as well. All the details are on my website at rickbeato.com. For all of you watching the live stream right now, as I do typically, there's a discount code on the Beato book, 20% off for today only, and the discount code is RB721. So now let's get into the topic at hand, chord tone soloing. I'm going to approach this from a practicing point of view. I call it practicing 101. A lot of people ask me about how I practice. And I think practicing is making good use of your practice time is probably the most important thing that you do. A lot of people do not have the kind of time to practice. I don't have the time to practice, even though I try now to do about an hour a day. But my hour a day will be filled up with a lot of different things. I mean, I'm actually practicing and recording content for Instagram, and follow me Instagram, rickbeato1, by the way. I've forced myself to practice and do one improvisation a day to put up there if I can. I've been trying to keep to that. So I want to talk about chord tone soloing, because this is really kind of where most people falter in their playing. Is they don't know how to actually hit the right notes at the right time. And when I say chord tones, I'm talking notes that are in the chord. If it's a major chord, it's the 1, 3, 5. If it's a minor chord, 1 flat 3, 5. If it's a dominant 7 with a flat 9, it's 1, 3, 5, flat 7, flat 9, for example. I'm going to show you kind of some strategies for practicing this. And we're going to take a chord progression. We're going to take a simple chord progression. This can be for any genre of music, rock, jazz, but I'm going to approach it from a jazz point of view here, because this is probably the most difficult thing to do. This concept, though, is really about melody writing. How to improvise melodies, how to write melodies. It's all the same thing. It doesn't matter the genre. Jazz and rock, there is no difference. Classical music, no difference. It's the rhythms that change. It's how you use chromatics, things like that. Some of the harmonic language is different, but for the most part, when I'm writing a song, a rock song, a pop song, I'm thinking exactly the same way with the same chord tone approach as I am when I'm improvising over a set of changes. So the changes we'll start with is a simple 1, 6, 2, 5. I'm going to go F major 7. So we're going to be in the key of F. 1 bar of that to D7 flat 9. And the reason I'm doing this, I want to practice this 6 to 2 to 5 progression. Then G minor 7 to C7. This is it. That's the whole progression. We're going to just repeat that. Now, we're going to play a lot of different things over that, but these are things that I practiced when I was beginning to learn how to improvise, and I still do. I use these same practicing strategies like this. And a lot of them involve practicing for long periods of time without trying not to make errors. That is really the hardest, that's the hardest thing to do is to not make mistakes while you're doing this, okay? So I will typically start out, if I'm in F major here, because this begins in F major, you get the chords, F major 7, D7 flat 9, then I've got G minor 7, C7, I did C7 flat 9, and then to F major 7, there, okay? So I'm gonna start in this position of F major. So here's all the available notes I have. So all those notes. Now, some of the notes in these chords are gonna be just outside this position. For example, if I have D7 flat 9, I might put the flat 5 on that. So that note is gonna be back here. But I'm gonna try, if I have the flat 9, that night, the flat 9, if I do the flat 9, it'd be up here. But if I do the, if I did the, let's see, if I did the flat 9 on the C7, for example, right, this note is going to be right there. So that'll be 1 fret above. Okay, so the way I would start is like this. I start here on F, and I'm going to play ascending. I'm going to try to change directions on each chord. So I'm going to go ascending. That's my first note that I'm playing. That is on the D7 chord. And you can hear, because that note is not in the F major scale, okay? And if people are writing things on here, I cannot read them without my glasses, so Carol will have to respond to anything. So that's the change there. So I'm gonna play about this tempo. And then I'm gonna say, okay, I'm going to try to not have any gaps in the lines. Okay, so there I've gone through this chord, D7 flat 9, then I'm on G minor 7. So okay, on the G minor 7, I start on the root. And there's the flat 7 on the C7 chord. And there's the third of F major. Now that's kind of a boring line. If I were to spice it up a little bit, I might play. Okay, so that was a different thing. So I'm gonna go on a little bit now. Actually, let me talk about that. What I played D7. There's a delayed resolution there, right? There's my G minor. C7. I played C altered, flat 9, sharp 5. I did sharp 9, third, sharp 9, flat 9, down to the 5th of the F major 7 chord. So I'm thinking really hard. So anytime you make a mistake, you have to go back over and correct the line that you did, okay? I'm trying to have no break in the rhythm. Okay, so I'm here. That'd be the G minor, add 9. Then, and I just did F sharp major over C7. So, when I'm playing these, you guys can hear what these chord changes are. The chord changes are not needed. There you go. Exactly. Aaron, what were you going to say?
You're covering up the changes a little bit, and so people aren't sure what
Oh.
you're playing over.
Okay, that's what I'm playing over. F major 7, D7 flat 9, G minor 7, C7. Okay? I'm going to raise it here. I've got Carol and Aaron here. But you see, you can't see the guitar though, Carol. No, you can't, because I'm actually, yeah, that's good, it's good, it's good. I got it. Yeah. So F major 7. Okay, so I did that time. I'm doing some substitute chord changes. F major 7. So that's an F add 9 arpeggio. So instead of playing it linearly now, I'm going to start doing arpeggios. Okay, so I did F major, add 9, then I did A flat major, major, which gives me this type of sound, and then I basically did a B flat major triad, which is a G minor 7 chord, is a B flat major triad over G. Then I went to the E, which is the third of the C7, right? And then I'm going to resolve to that third. And then I say, okay, well, where am I? I'm on this B flat on the G minor 7. I did. Well, actually, I did that. Then I got to think, okay, well, where can I go to for my C7 chord? Well, I can go to this, which would be a C7, C13 flat 9 sound, okay? So, when I'm thinking about these chords here in this position, I'm thinking, where are the chord scales, right? So I've got F major. Then I could go to D altered dominant, for example, if I want to. So D altered dominant has this note, which is F sharp, so it's a third. So I'm saying, okay, well, where is that D altered dominant? So it's, right? So it's right there. It's E flat melodic minor if you want to think of it. So. So I did on G minor 7, then I did, and then C7, then. So I'm thinking. So I did that. And I'm resolving to the third. Every single time I'm playing over these changes, I'm resolving to chord tones on strong beats, right? I could go to the, you go to the sharp 5. Or I went to the, I went to sharp 5 there. So I did. What did I do? Okay, that's a sharp 5 of this chord. And I see, okay, I'm in this E flat melodic minor, right? So I can continue the scale on from there. Well, that note is the 3rd of the G minor 7, so I want to put a chromatic in there to get there on time. That's the 3rd of G minor 7. And I went to the 7th of the C7. I had to add an extra chromatic note there to land on the 7th. So these are things that you need to keep in mind when you're playing these. Now this is really, really involved in a way because you have to know all the chord scales that go over these. So what I do is I just limit it to a couple things. I say F major, on the F major 7, I'm gonna play F Ionian. I'm not gonna make it fancy, I'm not gonna do Lydian or anything. On the G minor 7, I'm gonna play G Dorian. So it's still the same notes of F major. The difference is on the D7 chord and the C7 chord, I'm gonna use different scales. On the D7 chord, I'm gonna use some type of an altered scale or a dominant diminished sound, okay? The dominant diminished sound would be the so it'd be half step, whole step scale. That was pretty cool. I like that. I don't even know what I did. I can't even remember. I'm playing by ear, really, when I'm doing these things. I'm thinking of these. I forget what I did there. To the next position here, and I'm going to start doing the same thing. Let's see, I did. Okay, so that's some tricky stuff there that I'm doing. So I'm putting in some alternate chord progressions that I'm thinking of, okay? So for each of these, on this D7 chord, sometimes I might think A minor 7 flat 5 to D7 flat 9. I might think F sharp diminished 7th. Okay, going to G minor 7. I might think just an A flat 7 or an A flat major triad, because these sounds are great leading sounds to G minor. This is really strong. It's a tritone substitute to that. Sometimes I'm thinking G minor 7, and then here I'm going G minor 7 to C7. So I'm doing the resolution at the last minute. Sometimes I'm thinking G minor 7 to C7, and then I might think, okay, I want to play a little tritone substitute here. The tritone substitute in this bar, okay, so the tritone substitute here is going to be a G flat or F sharp 7 chord. So I would do a C sharp minor 7 to F sharp 7 to F major 7. So I'm putting in these little substitute chord changes, or I might just think F sharp major right there, okay? G minor 7, C7, F sharp major. I got A flat major, I got F sharp major. That's where you start getting those really cool sounds, where it sounds like I'm playing a little bit outside the chord changes, right? So I'm going like this. And then I'm going to do an A flat 7 or some type of A flat. So I'm using A flat major add 9. So, and I'm always getting those resolutions by half step. That's going to the flat 5. What did I do? There's my third of my G minor chord. And then I say, okay, if I have F sharp major, I can do. So I'm using F sharp add 9. So I've got this chord. So there's my F sharp over C, F sharp major over C. And I land right on the tonic of the F major chord, okay? So very, very simple ideas here for these sounds. The scalar ideas are a little trickier because you have to know. So I did. There's a 5th on D7. 3rd of G minor 7. Flat 9. There's my 5th. So I'm using triads there. If you know where all those chord tones are, F major, A flat major, G minor, F sharp major, F major, A flat major, G major, A major. There's your F6-9, your D altered, your G minor 13, your C7 altered there. Then you start getting them more of like that Alan Holdsworth sound, right? It's beautiful. So I'm using some of those Lydian sound. That would be sound. Then I got my G minor. There's your F sharp Lydian. It's a great sound right there on that. They're actually very, very simple concepts. Now, I also have things on here like pedal point. Pedal point would be something like this, where if I keep pedaling off one note, that's hard, and then okay, so I'm going, and then I'd be like, I have to do a different one there. Tricky to do. I held that common tone there, that fifth, because that fits over all the notes in the chord. That's kind of cool. So. Oh, yeah. That's tricky. That's kind of cool, though. That would be using pedal point. You could use a lower pedal point. You could do this low C, right? Oh, that's tricky. Let's see here. Let me do it here. Oh, shoot. Oh, man. Woo! So I'm trying to do... There's my D7 chord. There's my flat 9. There's my root on my G minor 7. There's my flat 5 on C7. Woo! Those lower pedal points are hard, but that C works in either octave. So that would be a way to practice, a strategy for practicing pedal points. You can take any note that would work over the chords. For example, the note F works over everything. It's the root of the F chord, it's the sharp 9 of the D chord, it's the flat 7 of the F chord, it's the sus4 of the C7 chord, okay? And it's not as great because it doesn't really give you good resolution, but that would be a good note to do. Or try and keep it within a half step of each other. The E is good. The E is good, but the E is not great on the D7 chord. You have to go to F or go to E flat. So you have to know where these chord tones are. in any position on the guitar. So the way you do that is you just learn your arpeggios, right? Your F major 7. All right. Then you get your D7. Then your G minor 7. I did G minor 9. Then your C7. It could be C7 with 13. You can use add 9 chords, all these different things. Everything is in my book here. All these kinds of ideas. I've got thousands of examples of how to play over all these different kind of chord progressions. RB 721 is the discount code. Questions? We have a lot of questions. Carol?
I guess not really.
We don't have a lot of questions? Okay.
I mean, people have been sort of conversing here and there. Okay, more questions coming up.
I could probably put my glasses on and just read them myself. Hold on.
Okay. A question from Matt Cody.
Yeah, what's up, Matt?
Can you see him there?
I don't know, I can't see. Do I have to roll back a little bit?
No, it's the third. Last one.
Matt.
I can just read it.
Let's see. Will says you're pretty sure that Jobim used diminished chords instead of dominant chords,
Yeah.
and how insensitive. Yeah. But they're basically they're basically the same thing though. F sharp 7. You know, if you're doing how insensitive, right? C sharp diminished 7th here, right here is really A7 flat 9. Okay, same. And then C minor 7, then it goes to B minor 7 flat 5 to B flat major 7. But that sound right, that so I'm playing C minor 7, and there's my C minor 7, then I go to, there's my B minor 7 flat 5 chord. So that chord though, that C sharp diminished 7 is just a sub for A7. So you're essentially going like, so there's your A7 chord, flat 9 to your C minor 7, and then B half diminished. But those chords actually can be, you can go D minor 7, you can go to C over A major, C sharp over A major over C sharp. A little bit hipper. There's my B minor 7 flat 5. And then your E flat major. So that diminished chord can be built on the third of the dominant chord as a sub for the dominant chord. I've talked about that many times. I have it right here. F sharp 7 is built on the third of the D7 chord, and it's the secondary diminished 7th chord. It's a very standard substitution that people have been doing for hundreds of years. That Mozart did that, everybody did that. Other questions?
Okay, so Matt Cody asked, if you play progression and modulate without using a common chord before the secondary dominant, secondary diminished, is that a chromatic pivot chord modulation?
What?
Chromatic pivot chord, do you know what that is?
Yeah, but I don't understand the question. If you do what?
If you do a modulation with not using a common chord,
If you do a modulation not using a,
common chord, would that be called a chromatic pivot chord?
well, you can do modulations. I mean, there's tons of tunes that don't have, that do modulations. I mean, I wouldn't call giant steps chromatic pivot chords, right? You got, oh, we've modulated already. We've gone from B major, and then 2 beats later we're in G major. How do I know? Because D7 is the 5 chord of G major. It's the only key that D7 is in. And then B flat 7, those aren't pivot chord modulations. Those are direct modulations where you're going. So you don't need to have a pivot chord. You can just do a direct modulation to a new key. Now there's ways to do it. I mean, I have a great video. I think it's a great video called Chromatic Mediant Modulations, and it's dealing with this exact idea of what the possible pivot chords are, but they all relate to having common tones. They're not common chords. So these so these are so the difference between a common chord, a chord that would be in both keys, for example, like here in F major, if I had an E minor 7 flat 5 going to an A7 to a D minor 7, well, D minor 7's in F major, it's 6th chord. E minor 7 flat 5 is in F major, that's the 7th chord, but really E minor 7 flat 5 to A7 is a 2-5-1 in D minor. But the E minor 7 flat 5 is that common chord that you're talking about between the two keys, okay? But it's really, it's hard to take these things out of context, but you can have just direct modulations instantly to new keys, no problem. People do it all the time. Giant steps is a great example of that. I saw somebody on here that said they've been a subscriber since I had 2,000 subscribers. Come on, who is that? Who said that? That's amazing. Somebody really was here since I had 2,000 subscribers. That was pretty much right at the beginning, because I started my channel with 1,240. So you must have subscribed in June of 2016, which is pretty cool. Somebody asked me about Nigel Godrich, right? Is that right? Did I see that?
Yeah. Rick, do you plan to review Nigel's mixing techniques?
You know what? I'd actually like to have Nigel on my show. I plan to actually start having, instead of doing sounding off remotely like I've done, I plan to start having people where I travel, or they travel here, and we do things like that. I think that's what I want the next evolution of the channel to be when I do these. I want to do in-person interviews, and I want to do these "What Makes This Song Great" with some of the actual artists. So I'm actually trying to organize some of them right now for this summer. First thing I'm going to do, though, is get the master class done with next month, and then in August I'm planning on doing some traveling. And I'm going to do some in-person things like that. So that's, Nigel would be great. You know, what's interesting is that I think most people don't realize, I mean, Nigel worked with Radiohead years ago, but he's only in his mid-40s right now. I mean, he is a young guy. I mean, he was young when he started with Radiohead.
There was a question.
Yeah. Can you apply negative harmony to your progression, your progression? If you watch this video that I have called Musical Palindromes and Negative Harmony, you can see how to apply these concepts of negative harmony to this. I did a whole episode on it, and I explain it in I would say it's a simpler way than you hear Steve Coleman or Jacob Collier explain it. Let's see, on a practical level, using the major scale to accentuate the right tones and, on a practical level, can I use the major scale form and accentuate the right notes instead of changing scales on all the chords? Yes, because I mean, when I'm thinking of this, when I'm playing on the G minor 7, when I'm playing F major 7, I'm playing all the same notes, but I know where the arpeggios are in those places. That's how I know where the chord tones are. So when I'm playing through the scale, I just know where the right notes are because I know, okay, I know where the A is here. You know, if I'm playing here, I know this is the third of the F major chord. I know it's the fifth, the major seventh, the third, the root, the ninth. I know where all those notes are. The sus4, the sixth, the major seventh, the sus4, the fifth, the third of F major 7. I know there's my root of D of D7. I know the sharp 9, flat 9, third, fifth, flat 7. You know, I know where all those chord tones are. Flat 7, 13, flat 13, or sharp 5. So, and I know where all the scales. Now my G minor 7 here is still all notes of F major, but I know I've got the ninth, the seventh, the third. Or I'm sorry, 9, 7, 5, third root. To the flat 7. So flat 7, fifth, third root. What are the best music schools, in my opinion? People ask me that sometimes, but I haven't been to a music school in 30 years. Carol, what are the best music schools? Carol's going to tell you Berkeley.
No, NEC. There you go.
NEC, New England Conservatory. There you go. Actually, I don't know that anymore, but
NEC, Manhattan,
Juilliard, Curtis, those are great music schools, but not for guitar and things. It depends on what instrument you are. It depends on what you're into. If you're into recording, they're all different. Music education, Ithaca College is great where I went.
Here's the question.
Yep.
When you make substitutions in jazz, does your band have to know ahead of time?
No.
So what to do? Like, how is this done properly?
How's it done properly? Well, if I'm doing a substitution and let's say I'm playing on the 5 chord in F major, right? The bass player is playing a C, but I'm implying this sound. I'm implying F sharp major. Well, if he's playing do da do da, well, that sound works great over that, even if he's walking over a C7 chord. Because the notes are in a lower register in the bass, as long as they're staying on chord tones, those kind of substitutions are not, they sound cool. They sound cool. Or the guy, if I'm playing bass and I hear a guy play that sound, I know what it is. I'm not going to play F sharp in the bass because it's going to take all the power away from that substitution. The dissonance that happens depends on having the actual tonic in there. If you're following these, if I'm playing the bass and I'm playing F and then I play A flat when the guy's playing the A flat chord, it's going to make his A flat thing sound boring. Okay, so you want to play the substitutions with the bass player not playing them. Now that's not necessarily the case with the keyboard player, but if the keyboard player's smart, he'll just lay out on those things and say, okay, what's he going to play? If it's me playing, I'm going to play different substitutions every time. So the keyboard player, I'll just tell him just to lay out. I'll count for myself.
Someone said YouTube is the best music school.
YouTube is the best music school. Yes! There you go. YouTube is the best music school. I say it all the time. How many of you watched my video on virtuosos? Carol raised her hand.
Aaron, did you see it?
I did, yeah.
I made Aaron watch it, and Carol helped edit it, so. Actually, I have to credit my friend Paul because I called him up. I was having trouble making the video at first because I didn't have my concept. I didn't have a concept. I didn't know what I wanted to say about it. Because it's hard to take classical music virtuosity and jazz virtuosity and fusion and rock but they all kind of spring from the same place, except in classical music, the original people were improvisers, Bach, Beethoven, Mozart. But as I say, you're either a creator or a recreator. A recreator is somebody that plays other people's music, and you recreate them using your own interpretations. What's up, Ray? There's Ray, everyone. Start the revolution. But inventiveness is extremely important with as far as jazz and rock and fusion. And I tried to highlight people that are really inventive, the most inventive people. I think it was lost on some people. I had some people complain. Somebody complained about Tosin Abasi. Why wasn't he in there? And I said, well, when he's 70 years old, like Alan Holdsworth was when he died, or 75, like George Benson, he can be in the video too with them. But until I love Tosin Abasi, and I'm going to interview him for Sounding Off. But I don't think that he's earned his spot in with George Benson and Alan Holdsworth yet. But maybe he will. George Benson has not died. No. But, I mean, the people I had in the video, in the jazz section of it, Frank Gambale, come on, these guys are in their 60s, you know, they've been around for 30, 40 years. Even Guthrie's, you know, in his 50s, or at least 50. He's got to be around 50 or so. He's been around for years and years. Vinny's 65 years old, 68 years old. These guys are Dennis Chambers. These guys are the old school legends. But I had to put the Benson clip on at the end, because the Benson clip he really can combine. I mean, I didn't put Matheny on there. Matheny is a virtuoso, but my favorite playing of his is not virtuosic. He's a melodic virtuoso, as I like to call it. But Benson has incredible chops, can play anything, and he can groove. Okay, so Guthrie's 46. Okay, see, Guthrie is not, you know, he's a middle-aged guy, just like Kurt Rosenwinkel. I mean, you know, if you live to be 90 years old, he's a middle-aged guy that's been around for a long time. Tosin is, what, 25 or so? He's a different generation younger. But Benson's chops and his musical ideas are ridiculous. I mean, Shawn Lane, how old would Shawn Lane be? He died at 43, I think, and he died 25 years ago? I don't even, when did Shawn Lane die? 20? What's that? 2003. 15 years ago. So he'd be, was he 43? Is that right? He'd be, how old was he? 40? What year was he?
40 years old. He was born in 63.
He was born in 63. He'd be my age. He'd be in his mid-50s. Different generation. Does Iden play any other instruments? Iden plays the trumpet. Iden plays the drums. Iden can play whatever he wants.
Aaron sent us.
Wait, Tosin's is 35? Okay, well, there you go. Is he really 35? Didn't know that. Masters of Non-Existence. Hey, Rick, hard to actually incorporate arpeggios in your own music. Thanks for the help. Cool. All right, many closer fitting that gent video I was talking about. I need to work on that more. Michael Brecker, come on, man. These guys are legends. I put in the legends. I couldn't find Coltrane. I didn't put Coltrane in there because they're kind of touchy about the stuff that you do. The Coltrane family is touchy about things like that. Charlie Parker, it's hard to find good clips. Honestly, the Art Tatum clip is a phenomenal clip, but it's so crackly sounding. I don't know why these things were off tape, or was I don't get that. Why was it crackly, Aaron? How can videos be crackly like that? Film? I mean, I don't get that. Is the Doors a blocker? Are the Doors a blocker, Jack? I don't think so. I have a lot of Doors tunes, and I love the Doors, and I'm going to be doing the Doors. Was Joe Pass in there? Joe Pass was not in there. I don't want to overdo talking about Joe Pass. I've made so many videos on Joe Pass. I love Joe Pass. He's a paisan. So, have I ever met the guys in Mastodon? Yes. As a matter of fact, two of the guys are actually from Rochester, my hometown. They grew up in Victor, New York, which is 2 towns over from where I grew up. And then they moved down here and started the band in Atlanta. Ironically, right? Is that ironically or just, I guess it's happenstance. Okay, so this is all. We're good for today. I'm going out on a high note here, 312 people. The Beato Live Masterclass. Come to Atlanta. It's for sale right now. July 21st. Go to my website. If you want to come the night before the VIP, there's a limited number of tickets there. We're going to go out to dinner and hang out for 3 hours. You can ask me whatever you want in person. You guys are amazing. This is really great. Thank you as always. We're getting close to 400,000. We will be there probably, what are we at, 388 or something like that? We'll probably be there in about 10, 12 days, something like that, 13 days. Within less than 2 weeks, we'll be at 400,000. So long before that. So get your tickets to Atlanta and come here. Thank you all. Subscribe to my Instagram, Rick Beato 1. I'm going to put up an Instagram video in a little bit. You guys are awesome. Thank you.